Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Trip to the Movies podcast. I am your co-host, Nathan Spencer.
And I am your host, Tripp Muncie.
So today, we're going to be discussing some breaking news for the first time on the podcast.
Breaking news alert. Nathan, is this an exclusive?
No, because I found out from the internet, so they had it first.
This is an exclusive, ladies and gentlemen, and a Trip to the podcast exclusive. I'm sorry, a Trip to the Movie podcast. I'm sorry, I should have been more clear. Okay, so Nathan, what is this exclusive breaking news story?
Well, the breaking news story is No Time to Die, probably one of the top 3 anticipated films of the year. Yes. I would say that's a safe bet, is being delayed until November.
Why?
Well, it's being delayed for a pretty serious reason. It's being delayed because the coronavirus is affecting the global movie market.
Oh.
So much, in fact, that they are moving it from April to November. So that's, May?
It's a couple months.
July, August.
It's at least 5.
October. That is, let me count on my hands, 7 months.
7 months.
And November is already crowded. So they'd rather release it in a crowded schedule.
You have Star Wars Episode 10?
Yeah. No, they don't.
Oh, it's not one. I thought they were doing one Star Wars film a year.
Not anymore.
Not anymore? Okay, good. Anyway, so, no, that really does stink because, I mean, as we know, the coronavirus broke out in China. And
now it's global.
Now it's, it is worldwide. And, most of the movies that really get their money back are in China. You look at the Fast and the Furious movies. You look at the Avengers movies. Not necessarily Star Wars.
This is why this is a big story.
It's definitely huge because this movie was supposed to come out in April.
And nothing is releasing around it. That weekend, I think there's like one really small movie.
Let me I'm not actually check it while you're talking.
But yeah, that was it's basically in the Avengers slot.
It was the Avengers.
It's the Avengers slot, which so that we know obviously that is a big money making weekend, both globally and here in the U.S.
Yeah. So the only movies that are coming out in April, New Mutants.
I mean, there's a lot of indie horror films. There's Trolls. There's Antebellum. That's a horror film.
And that was it.
So
and then,
No Time to Die.
Nothing's coming out in April.
Is the blockbuster.
Wow.
So I want to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
With No Time to Die being the first to move, and I think I'm going to list off a couple films, and I want you to tell me if you think they're going to move it or not. Okay. The first one, I think, is the most likely to also be moved. Mulan.
I would definitely say that will definitely be moved.
Yeah,
because it's basically set around a Chinese audience.
Yeah, and they were positioning it to be like arguably the biggest film in Chinese history.
Oh, 100%. So we have Mulan next.
Again, this is all speculation, but if No Time to Die, it feels the producers of that feel like it would be better served being moved than, and that's a whole month away.
Mulan's
this
March.
Month. Mulan's this month, so it'd be interesting to see if they actually move Mulan. Considering, I mean, it's about to come out.
Yeah.
So. With Mulan, though, I feel like is the most likely choice. What do you think about this one? Black Widow.
Black Widow, no.
You don't think that one will be moved?
Nope. Black Widow's going to still have its, I think I saw March 1st.
March 1st?
Release.
May
1st release date. Yep. Black Widow.
So, I mean, obviously none of these are
confirmed,
but I'm saying, do you think they'll move it?
No.
You don't think it'll be moved?
They're not going to move it.
I would be surprised if it moved domestically. However, No Time to Die moved everything. It didn't just move global. It moved Like, it didn't just move, like, worldwide outside the U.S. It moved everything. And Black Widow, it's a MCU film, and MCU films are huge in China.
They're 100%.
And global. I mean, Endgame is the highest grossing film of all time. It's a massive global market. And so, obviously, the U.S. is a huge money getter, but
yeah,
I feel like it has a chance.
Okay. I have a movie for you.
Okay.
What about Peter Rabbit 2: The Runaway?
I'm gonna go with no.
You think that's not going to be moved?
No, considering that will be a U.S. primary release.
It is going to be a U.S. primary, but I mean, doesn't everyone love rabbits? And
Yeah.
James Corden.
But let's. So with those movies in mind, those are the ones I feel are in the most danger, just because they're pretty close to happening, and right now there is no signs in the virus slowing down.
Yeah.
It's only going to get bigger and spread further around the world.
And we never know who actually shows up at a theater. I mean, people with the flu can show up to a movie theater.
Yeah, well, it's already been proven that the virus is deadlier than the flu.
Yeah.
So, this is a big deal.
I just meant in a general.
Oh, I know. People showing up to the
space.
movie. Yeah. But, this is crazy.
This is absolutely crazy, and
Because
it's really sad.
this is a film that not only was about to come out, but already had pre-sale tickets available.
It did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So, a lot of people already own tickets. Like, the IMAX is already sold out for opening weekend here.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
but
did not
the
even know
movie
that.
is being delayed despite the fact that tickets have already been sold, and they're actually still up for the original date. Hasn't been updated yet.
Well,
So,
wow.
this is a landscape changing move, because No Time to Die was pegged as being $1 billion film. Spectre
Definitely.
was not considered to be that good, and it almost made $1 billion. Skyfall did make $1 billion.
But this is also Daniel Craig's last Bond
It's
film.
Daniel Craig's last Bond film.
And
It's
it
been
has A-list
5
actors.
years since the last one.
Yeah, it has A-list actors in it, and, James Bond...
They had a Super Bowl ad.
Yeah, James Bond is a platform that everyone knows.
It's like if they moved... It's almost like if they moved an Avengers film. Not quite like that, but... I mean... MCU.
Yeah, I mean, the IP is huge.
Yeah.
And
it's now getting moved to November, so let's move here.
see all the films that are coming out in November now. Oh, wow. Okay, so we have Marvel's Eternals.
Yeah.
We have Godzilla vs. Kong on November 20th. And then now we have No Time to Die on November 25th. And Raya and the Last Dragon. So
Which
those
we don't know anything about. That's Pixar, right?
It's Disney.
Okay.
It's Disney. It's not a Pixar.
I think that Godzilla vs. King Kong might end up being shuffled. Because that film got crushed at the box office last year.
No.
Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Godzilla King... wow. I forgot the name
It
of
did not
that.
do well. Even if you include the global market, it was not a hit.
It was definitely not. And
I'm pretty sure it lost money. Because, let's look at this box office here.
I went to... I actually saw the movie in France. And it had...
really?
Yeah. It was French subtitled. And it had the English audio, but French subtitled. And I will say one thing. The French theaters are so much better than our local theaters here where we are. Because...
Was it busy, though?
It was a 10 o'clock showing.
Yeah, well, because here's why I think that one can move. Godzilla was released initially in China. It premiered in China.
Yeah.
And then, even with it being a global property, it made less than $400 million.
Really?
The last one did. And that movie cost just film budget $170 million. That's not including the extensive marketing campaign. It had a Super Bowl ad. It had a bunch of different advertisements. So the budget was probably more around $250 million.
Jeez.
So maybe broke even, maybe. And so with Godzilla vs. King Kong, they'll show up.
What if they throw it in one of the August or Septembers?
Yeah.
Because that's usually when the film industry is also slow.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people are really invisible in theaters at that time.
Yeah.
Speaking of invisible, Our next topic that we're going to talk about, we are going to talk about the brand new monster movie, Universal Dark Age Picture Universe, The Invisible Man. Nathan, what did you think of The Invisible Man 2020?
I think The Invisible Man is an excellent film.
Yeah.
I think it's an excellent horror film.
Yes.
And I think it's an excellent adaptation and modernization of a classic work. The Invisible Man has been around since 1897. So it's been in the pop culture consciousness for a long time.
Yeah.
People have known about it. H.G. Wells' classic book, which I'm pretty sure I read as a kid. Because I know what happens in it, but it's been a long time. I'm actually planning on rereading it, but there have been plenty of adaptions.
Yes, my favorite adaptation of The Invisible Man is Adam Driver dressing up as him in Marriage Story. By far the most iconic Invisible Man performance ever.
Well, here we go. So here's how many times Invisible Man has been in a film.
Can I guess how many?
How many?
I'm going to say 22.
22? Okay. We have the original Invisible Man, 1933.
Okay.
There's The Invisible Man Returns.
Okay.
The Invisible Man's Revenge. The Invisible Maniac.
Oh.
The Invisible Man, 1984.
Okay.
The Invisible Kid. The Invisible Avenger.
Oh.
The Invisible Maniac. Invisible Mom.
Okay.
Invisible Mouse.
Okay.
Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man.
Okay.
The Amazing Transparent Man.
Oh.
Hollow Man 2.
Oh.
The Man Who Wasn't There, which actually I don't think that counts.
That
does
don't
not count. Well, actually, yes, it is.
Isn't that
Never
a
mind.
Bond film?
Nope. No, it's not. That does count. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and The Invisible Woman.
So 16.
16?
16 times.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of films of invisibleness, and
yes.
I mean, the basically, so this movie really didn't have that much going for it in the initial long run because everyone's like, oh, okay, it's just gonna be another Invisible Man movie.
The trailer, I didn't think the trailer was very good. Personally.
No, the trailer was absolutely crappy. It's like who's the studio? Universal.
It's Blumhouse. I mean, Blumhouse is an affiliate of Universal.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's like Jason Blum was like, okay, hey, we have a bunch of interns. You're the one who has glasses on. How about you make a trailer for us? And here's the entirety of the movie. Just cut around and add the clips to it. There's also some deleted scenes in there. Well, and then the intern made a trailer so bad and so repetitive. It doesn't spoil
the film, though. It only shows stuff in the first 40 minutes.
The trailer is so absolutely bad.
But you're right. It doesn't get you hype.
I was getting annoyed. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to see this movie.
Yeah.
It looks so boring and stupid. Jump scares galore. And then I saw the movie, not really, with a very low expectations. And Nate, I'm going to just have to say something. I really ate my foot on that one. That was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. It's a movie that I will always want to watch. It's a movie that I cannot believe.
It's going to be a big rewatch film.
Yes, it's a movie that I am extremely glad that was made. I've seen it twice.
Yeah.
I love everything about it. The acting by Elizabeth Moss is phenomenal. Obviously, the Academy doesn't like horror movies, but she should definitely at least be considered because that was a standout performance. That's the best performance I've seen her in. Last movie I saw,
it would be interesting to see if they make an awards push because, I mean, you got to think, Blumhouse, they make crap, but it's like, no, they produce Get Out and Whiplash. So.
And Get Out came out in February of 2017, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so I don't think it has it's not a cultural cornerstone like Get Out is. It's not like a landmark achievement in film or anything. But
true.
If they make a push for I could see her getting like a Golden Globes nom. Maybe not an Academy Award nomination.
Okay.
Because we have a pretty stacked year of films. But I agree that she's deserving of consideration.
It was really awesome.
Elizabeth Moss is honestly an actress that's kind of above this type of film.
Yes.
Except for the fact that Leigh Whannell is the director.
Okay.
Leigh Whannell is the co-creator of the Saw franchise with James Wan.
He starred.
He was more of an actor / writer for a while, and that kind of flamed out. And then he got connected with Blumhouse, and because he directed Insidious 3. That was his directorial debut, and then he made Upgrade. Upgrade is where they gave him full creative control. They said, make the movie you want to make. And he made a John Carpenter-esque 80s sci-fi body horror action comedy drama. And it was great.
It was
one of my favorite
phenomenal.
films of 2018. It's been a good rewatch. That film is just really entertaining. A lot of cool camera tricks. And it's just really funny.
I think the standout in that movie is definitely the camera work.
Oh, yeah, because the way it's synced up to the movements, it's really jerky and robotic, but it almost feels like an out-of-body experience, which is perfect because the movie is literally about something being in control of your own body.
Yeah.
The Invisible Man, I was like, man, really, this is his follow-up? He's going to waste his talent, you know? And then it was... There's so little to this film. Half the film is like, hey, do you want to pan around an empty room? It's like, oh, that sounds so boring. Except for the fact that Elizabeth Moss is so good and the setup is so well done that camera work of just focusing an extra 5 seconds on an empty space or panning 360 around a room while Elizabeth Moss is packing her bag makes you scared because he understands the essence of the Invisible Man character. Yeah. He's invisible. So by not showing him that much, you then make it even more intense because you're like, well, he actually could be right here or right here or right here, and you don't know. My final thought on it would be less is always more in horror films because your imagination is always more scarier than what you're going to see.
Exactly.
And so by not showing the Invisible Man except for key moments and then, you know, the climax and all that stuff.
Do you want to get into spoilers at all?
No, we're not going to do spoilers. No? I think it's too new. I don't think we should do spoilers.
True. I got you.
Let's give people a chance to see it. And then maybe if it makes our end of the year list or midway point,
okay,
we could talk more about it.
I can see this definitely making it. Yeah. I will say I love the opening, and I wish I could get into spoilers, but basically I think the opening of the film...
You can talk about the opening. That's in the trailer.
Okay. Well, the opening definitely sets the precedent of how the movie is going to initially...
it's how the movie's going to be shot.
Go. How the movie is going to...
Every camera trick and like stylistic movement and the score and like the holding on images, panning around rooms, like that's set up from the beginning. It doesn't feel out of place when it happens later.
Yeah, I when I was watching it, I watched more horror movies than Nate.
Very much so.
And I got huge Paranormal Activity vibes from it. And when Elizabeth Moss is getting attacked, you know, getting lifted up in the kitchen, just getting flung and everything, I can't remember if there was music in there. And it was literally just the sound of her just screaming and everything. And I'm like, this is what I've always wanted to see. There's no loud...
I mean, there is a score.
I mean, there is just now.
Hey,
I will say
the score's well
the
done.
Score is amazing, but I will say I felt like sometimes the overall sound and the score was kind of overbearing, and I wanted to actually hear and listen on what was going on. And I will say, like, the final 3 minutes of the film, I felt like the score was really overbearing. But other than that, it was absolutely phenomenal. And I love how the Invisible Man started to mess with her. Because it's not like... I mean, obviously this is fictional, but, you know, if this actually could happen in real life, this is the most realistic depiction of something... scary
like
that could actually happen to someone's life.
Yeah.
Because she's like, why me? Why me? Why are you talking to the Invisible Man, why are you doing this? I gave you everything. Why are you still coming after me? I will say another part of the movie I felt like was just a little bit, I wouldn't say out of place, because obviously I had to go in that direction. I just feel like towards the second act low point, it really, I can't get into spoilers. It just felt a little bit cheesy to me, and like, oh, okay, you're doing that, really? That's happening. Obviously, I can't get into spoilers, but it didn't really make any sense to me. And other than that, I mean, obviously the story had to go that way. I just feel like that 5 to 7 minutes could have been handled differently. I'll tell you about it later.
That's fair. Yeah, the ending, I personally liked the way the film ended.
Yes,
I think you can nitpick it. You can nitpick certain things. Other reviewers I've seen have mentioned this, like transportation, slash like security camera footage, stuff like that, could potentially lead to some problems if you think about it too hard. But in my mind, I'm like, it's a movie about a guy that's invisible, so I'm going to give it some passes because clearly the movie is not based in reality. While it's not like the most crazy, outlandish sci-fi thing I've ever seen in my life, it is also still a movie about an invisible guy. So I can suspend my disbelief enough to where those things kind of go away from me. But speaking of the Invisible Man, I thought we should discuss our 5 favorite monster films.
Our 5 favorite monster films. That's awesome. So when Nate told me that we were going to be talking about favorite monster films, I'm like, I mean, I haven't seen that many monster movies. And then I looked up a list of monster movies that are considered monster movies, and I'm like, oh, yeah, of course I've seen monster movies. Now, these are not in any order for me. I don't know about Nate, but I did not put these in any order. I just wrote them down like, oh, okay, this is what I am doing. Nate, do you want to start off, or do you want me to start off?
You can start off.
Okay. The first one is Predator.
Good pick.
Yes. I mean, obviously, it has one of the most iconic horror movie, action movie character villains of all time. The sound design is very eerie and scary. And, Schwarzenegger's performance in the first one is one of the most iconic Schwarzenegger performances of all time. But if we're talking about, a monster movie, it only shows the Predator very limitedly in the movie because, he's either being invisible and they want to build up that suspense. And if a movie... Like if
you combine the Frankenstein, Invisible Man, Wolfman into one thing.
And if we're talking about monster movies, talking about the Invisible Man, we want to build up the suspense by not showing it fully. It does it absolutely perfectly. Yeah. And I have something else to say about it, but it's another film that I'm going to talk about. Okay,
sure.
So go on.
My number 5 pick is totally a nostalgia pick.
Okay.
Because if I'm being 100% objective, I should pick the original film. But I'm actually choosing Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy.
Oh, okay.
Abbott and Costello did pretty much all of the Universal monster films. Like they met Frankenstein, they met Dracula and all that. The Mummy one is my personal favorite. And there's really nothing about it that is anything particularly amazing. It's one of those comfort food films for me. I could turn it on and enjoy it. Abbott Costello is funny, and I remember watching it as a kid very, very vividly. It's one of those films that has stuck in my brain since I was a child, and that's why I love it so much.
Yeah. I'll say my next favorite monster movie is another horror movie. All of mine are horror movies.
Well, most of them are horror films.
Alien.
Ooh.
Now, I really love the, claustrophobic atmospheric feeling of the movie, but It's a great original horror movie with a strong female lead. That's another thing that I can also say about The Invisible Man. And also The Alien, they both have a very strong female lead in it, which I absolutely loved. And it was Alien was really, really scary. And the character is just a slimy, greasy, eggplant looking. It's like an eggplant, a black eggplant with teeth.
Yeah, very phallic.
And it's very,
H.R.
very, it's a very, very weird design. But I will say, I think, in my own opinion, I think that the Predator design is actually more iconic than the Alien design.
Okay.
Than the Xenomorph. In my own
fair.
opinion, I think it's
more marketable. More people would want a Predator toy than an Alien toy.
Exactly.
So.
And yeah, I would rather have my brother be a Predator than the Alien.
Yeah, my number 4, in line with my number 5, is the 1999 The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser.
Ooh,
this is
nice.
It leans slightly into horror / like supernatural body horror, but it's mainly an Indiana Jones semi-clone. I don't find any problems with that. This movie is so incredibly fun. The effects are dated. However, in this one, they actually do use some practical effects.
Yeah.
Whereas in the sequels, the CGI is so bad, they're borderline unwatchable.
What?
But no, this first film, Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz, it's just so entertaining. Brendan Fraser is so charming in this.
It's one of his, I think it's his best
role. Film. Oh, for sure. It turned him into a star. As a kid, again, with the monster films, I lean a lot into what I enjoyed as a kid. And I still enjoy it now. That was my movie as a kid. I watched it all the time. At some points, probably once or twice a month. I adore that film. I've seen it probably 50 plus times. Yeah. And I think it's better than the original Mummy film. The original Mummy film is obviously a classic, but it drags.
What about the 2017 Mummy film?
What
anyway,
film?
I don't know.
Wouldn't it be weird? Wouldn't it be dumb if Tom Cruise was in a Mummy film?
Make him be in a Top Gun sequel.
Yeah. So, what is your number 3?
Oh, I'm not putting them in order, but I'm just going out of order.
I've been going in order.
List. Yeah,
that's fine.
I'm not. Well, I know you are putting them in order. I'm not. I can't put these in orders. I like all of them.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Another favorite monster film of mine is 10 Cloverfield Lane. Now, obviously,
debate on if that's an Oscar film.
I know. I knew he was going to say that
I want to hear your argument.
Obviously, the first Cloverfield movie is majorly considered a monster film because
most
definitely. But the reason why I like the sequel to it, or 10 Cloverfield Lane, because it still ties in everything together from the first Cloverfield movie into the second one. Now, obviously, it's a survival movie. At its heart, it's a survival movie. But it still manages to tie in the original Cloverfield and at the last 10 minutes of the movie. And I know a lot of people are saying, nah, the last 10 minutes were stupid. I honestly really
I would argue that John Goodman's the monster.
Ooh.
That would be my argument.
Okay.
Now, I will say, I did not put films where a human / humanoid is the monster.
The monster, yeah.
Like, I wanted to put It Follows. I personally did not. I did not put It Follows.
That...
Just because of semantics, okay?
Okay.
I wanted to string more closely to the classic monster type. But if we are going to do that, I'm going to go ahead and retroactively change my list. I'm going to bump off Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy and then slot in It Follows as my actual number 3.
Okay,
gotcha. If we're going to do that, then I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
okay? So I'll talk about It Follows after you're done.
Okay, but I mean, 10 Cloverfield Lane, I think all the acting is phenomenal, and it actually gives a really...
I love that film.
Intense, scary environment. Yeah. And like Alien, it's also claustrophobic. I just like really claustrophobic movies.
Yeah. Well,
So anyway, talk about It Follows.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that movie. That would have been on mine.
that's all right. It Follows is a film that scared the crap out of me.
Yep.
And
I remember I was there when
yeah,
we
you
first
watched it with me.
Yep.
It scared the crap out of me. It is ridiculously suspenseful, and I think it does. I don't think it has one jump scare I can think of. The other quote jump scares happen in frame without the camera moving or some crazy edit.
Or some crazy loud music.
Is literally a creature. It is a thing stalking. And it is just, it's terrifying. Mm-hmm. But it can symbolize so many things, which is why I think the film is so great, because at its core it is a genre piece, but you can apply so many different viewpoints and perspectives onto it, and it makes sense. So it elevates itself above a lot of typical slasher films in that regard. And
also
it scares me on every rewatch. I've seen it 4 times, and I clench up a little bit every time I see that big man walk through the doorstep, and I'm like, no, I don't like that. Every single time, but I can't stop watching it.
Yeah, you're absolute. I love it. It Follows. Yeah. I can always watch it at any time. It is very suspenseful. So I have another movie that I would like to talk about. And it's a movie that I definitely know Nathan has not seen. But it is a movie that really speaks to me and connects to me, because this is my favorite type of filmmaking. And I know that it's not a very well done type of filmmaking. Mm-hmm. It's just something that can easily take me into the movie. The movie is called VHS.
It's on my watch list.
And it is a movie that genuinely scared me to death.
Oh. Uh-oh.
And it's my favorite type. It's a handheld. It's like the POV handheld shot. Kind of like the Blair Witch and
footage.
Found footage, yeah. Like Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity. And it has weird alien creatures in the movie. And the plot is surprisingly really coherent and straightforward. It's basically about, I'm not getting into spoilers, It's basically about these hooligans,
I know the premise,
the group of guys. They go into a house
find the VHS
and they
tapes.
find the VHS tapes, and then they start watching them, and then one after the other is creepier and creepier, and they're just like a bunch of short 20-minute films implemented into one. But I will say, the first one is by far one of the creepiest, I think it's like 20 minutes long. It's one of the creepiest minutes of cinema I have ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, obviously. Yeah. But it's super scary and super terrifying. Yeah. And sometimes it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should.
I think every good monster film, or even horror film in general, should have some levity to it.
Yeah. Now the second one is also really good. I feel like the first one is better. The third one, do not watch. The third one's absolutely terrible. Just don't ever watch that. Nate, what is your second?
Well, technically this would be my third. I messed up. It Follows would have been my fourth.
Okay, I got you.
My third is Alien. You already talked about this one.
Perfect.
I love Aliens as well, but that one is in action films. It's not really a monster film, in my opinion, just because of the fact that there's a lot of them, and it's like the orcs in Lord of the Rings it's not a monster movie, no. But Alien is unequivocally a monster film. It is one creature in this ship stalking these people. It sets the mood is there the entire time. It never lets you go. The intensity and the suspense is just unbelievable. For this to be really Scott's first first feature film is ridiculously impressive. Yeah. Alien is a masterpiece. And it would be really unfortunate if they made more than 2 of them. I'm really glad they didn't do that.
I'm really glad they did stop that.
I'm really glad they didn't make
Alien
one.
And Aliens are absolutely...
I'm really glad they didn't make one where they explained where the alien came from and suddenly made the alien not as scary anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really glad, Michael Fassbender, he's only been in good movies.
Yeah.
I mean, why would he be...
I'm also... Yeah. We've already talked enough about the alien. It's an iconic design. It's terrifying, but it's also just... It's just cool.
Gross.
It's gross, but it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm also going to go into my second film.
Definitely.
Because I got behind there.
You good, man.
My second favorite monster film is The Thing
by
John Carpenter.
Knew you were going to say that, and that definitely would have been on my list, but I have not seen The Thing.
Oh, yeah. So it's a remake, actually, of a classic monster film, The Thing from Outer Space, I believe, or The Thing from Another World. I think that's it. That came out in the 50s, where that guy is basically a walking Frankenstein vegetable, which is, kind of whatever. But this film is just a mood piece from start to finish. It's claustrophobic. It literally makes you chilly because it's set in Antarctica. And so, if for anyone that doesn't know, this film is very iconic, but The Thing, what it does is you don't actually know what the original form of the alien looks like, but if you come in contact with it, its DNA then takes you over. And what it does is it turns you inside out, and then it clones you. And it becomes you. Wow. And so it hides in plain sight. So the whole film is one person is always the thing. You don't know who it is. So the entire time you're following these people trapped in a claustrophobic space where you can't go outside really because you'll freeze to death. But you can't get away from you don't want to be too close to your friends because you don't know if they're the thing or not. And so the creature effects are disgusting but so impressive. Yeah. It's all practical. And the fact that it will be timeless forever because it's practical. The film can't be dated.
Doesn't it have like 3 heads, like the 3
Well, there's a ton of different designs.
Yeah. I know
It changes every time you see the thing, and it just keeps going up and up and up and up.
And I know the one that obviously everyone should know about the thing is whenever they're about to cut something inside the stomach or whatever, and then the stomach opens up.
That's a spoiler.
Then takes off. It's super iconic. Listen, I haven't seen it, and I know about that.
I'm kidding,
but
no, it's
that's
it just creates
iconic.
a sense of dread that you're being stalked without someone actually stalking you because it's infecting you from the inside, and it's definitely one of the most iconic movie monsters without it actually having a look to it. Yeah. And so that's why it's my number 2. So
I'm going to say my number 1, and I know Nate definitely does not know what this is. It is a movie monster that I heard, this movie's so good. It's a fairly recent movie too, and I watched it on Netflix, and it gave me chills in the middle of the night. I had to keep my door closed, and then at another time I'm like, nope, I'm keeping the door open. Maybe open up the windows. It is a movie called The Babadook, and I absolutely love the movie. And also hate the movie at the exact same
I've seen
time.
This, right?
I know you've seen it, but it's not on your list.
It's not on my list, no.
I knew it wasn't on. Oh, I know you've seen it. Yeah.
That movie was.
It's a crazy, crazy movie, and the Babadook character. I'm not saying it's the most iconic horror movie character, but if you're talking
monster character,
monster character. Yeah. It basically takes control over this family, over this mother and son.
It's depression and anxiety and fear incarnate, basically.
Yeah. The basically something happens to the boy's father, and now the mother's having to take care of the son, and then the son is by far one of the most annoying
He starts
kids.
off that way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. He starts off as one of the most annoying characters ever in cinema history, in my own opinion.
Yes.
And then the Babadook is introduced in a book. And then the Babadook starts to haunt the mother and the son.
That scene where they're reading through the book sent chills down my spine.
It gave you...
oh my goodness. It gave me chills. Like, no, when it gets to the end, I was like, oh my God, this is just. Oh, I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills thinking about it.
Yeah, don't watch it in a dark room. But
Or
it
at
is
3 a.m.
Yes, and also there's like that fridge scene when there's like cockroaches or something behind the fridge. I think.
Oh.
I can't remember. I have not seen it in forever, but the fact that I haven't seen it in forever and it's still in my mind and I'm thinking about it, that's when I know. That's when I can officially say, yeah. This is a very creepy monster movie, and I am super, super happy there's not been any sequels, remakes, reboots.
It actually, I think, helps that it wasn't a big financial hit.
Yes.
Because it wasn't then turned into, like, a slasher franchise or a monster franchise. And
Exactly.
Just sequel to death.
And then Jennifer Kent, made another very, very intense movie. Not a monster movie, but the Nightingale.
It signaled the arrival of a new director, like a new modern master.
Yeah. I will watch any Jennifer Kent movie.
Yeah.
Maybe only once, though.
The best monster film, in my opinion, I'm actually surprised it didn't make your list. The best monster film, in my opinion, undebatably, it's Jaws.
Wow.
Yeah. Jaws is... It's something that can... It's a slightly exaggerated form of something that exists in real life. So it is a monster. But it makes you afraid to go in the water. The movie literally had an economic impact on people going to the beach because that was how scared it made people.
Wow.
They barely show the shark because the effects actually were so bad that they're like, Steven Spielberg was like, we actually cannot show this because it looks that bad. So little did he know that would make the film timeless, because by not showing the shark almost at all, you don't have much time to be like, haha, look how fake it is. You're only focused on the fact that you're looking from the shark's POV and there's a human right there. Oh, it's at the top. Everyone's so happy. Oh, it's swimming. And then, I mean, again, less is always more in horror films, but in monster films in particular, because nothing is more scary than not knowing what it is and like what it looks like. When you're in your head, you're just imagining this beast. Like, that's why the Thing's so effective. That's why Alien's so effective. That's why It Follows is so effective, because you're just like, what does it look like? When is it going to come out? Because you're not constantly seeing it. You're not watching Frankenstein do this for 50 minutes, and you're like, oh, well, it's not like he can scare me because I'm watching him walk towards me right now.
Yeah, and also, other kind of IPs like that movie, have been parodied countless over time.
But Jaws is a movie I rewatch all the time. It's just it's the perfect rewatch film.
It is. And you actually like the characters in the story.
Exactly. The characters are great. The writing is great. And it's just...
I also love the vertigo shot when he's on the beach and then it zooms in.
Oh, yeah. The dolly zoom.
Yeah. Yeah, when it zooms in and whenever he sees like...
Is the kid in the water.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's the perfect example of how effective a monster film can be.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's the best in my opinion.
Okay. Well, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, that is the end of our podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching, and if you would like to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, if you want to comment anything about what you'd like us to talk about, a film you'd like us to watch and review, or something like that, or just a film topic in general, feel free to share.
I would like for next week us to... I want us to talk about our favorite or top... How about our top 5 or top 3 favorite Adam Sandler performances?
Okay, so there will be 2 good ones in there. I know for sure.
Little Nicky and Jack and Jill.
Duh. Number 1. Okay.
But that's what I would like to do. And then next week, you can do a topic. Would you like to do that?
Sure, let's do that.
All right, perfect. Because Nate kind of picked the topic this week. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, how about we talk about Adam Sandler?
Okay.
Because I've been on an Adam Sandler binge lately. And, I like him. So, You agree to do that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching Trip to the Movies podcast. I am Tripp, and I would like to thank my co-host, Nathan Spencer, for being in this podcast with me.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you. We'll see you later.
All right.
Goodbye.